welcome to another edition of Vigorously with me, Val Kleinhands, where we chat everything pop culture, style, social media. That's sort of what we're going to be doing in this episode with the wonderful Shelby Stahl from Minnesota. She loves posting about our state and travels really all over the world on her Instagram as well. And she's the founder of Beloved Social. Shelby, how are you, girl? I'm so happy to see you again.
I am so excited to be here, Val. I love talking to you. I'm so excited. I feel like I've had like a full circle moment or many maybe since our
Yes,
last recording from Very Vogue. So I'm just like
I
super
know.
excited to chit chat, life update, like
Yes.
all things. Hear about your new show, your podcast, Vigorously. I'm
All the
so here
above.
for it. I'm so here for it.
All the above, all the above, all the energy. We're going kiki a little bit today. So really, truly, like last time we saw each other, you were going through everything with Beloved Social, with your brand, and I was kind of in the middle of I'm not sure what I want to do with my podcast. Maybe I should condense it to one. Ba 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 ba. We've done that now. We were celebrating the launch of your website at
Yeah.
Steadypore last
Yep,
time we
exactly.
were hanging out. So
Yeah.
love, love, love. What has been going on in your world or with Beloved Social since then?
Yeah, so we had our website launch that was really the rebrand launch as well. So I
Mm.
had been operating as just Shelby Stahl LLC for 3 years up until that point, and then really wanted to make it a splashy brand that encompasses not only my talent, but also the talent of my team. And I'm super lucky and excited to be working with the people that I'm working with. And yeah, that's basically been what's going on since then. I have had a little travel for sure, but definitely leaning into business owner, CEO energy and trying to land a business that is not just a freelancer side hustle gig that I was doing previously, but a full on brand agency. Like, here we are.
Period. If we're definitely set on. Well, let's remind people. You're our first repeat guest. So if anybody, I
No
know
way.
you are
No
truly my
way.
first repeat guest. So this is a
Oh,
milestone here. This is a milestone. So we're loving
oh,
it.
thank you for having me. I'm honored.
I know. I love it. I mean, if you're listening to this podcast for the first time, you may or may not remember, but so it was almost a year ago, or maybe even a longer than
2.
that. Two. Okay, since we talked to you last, we were talking about all the things. You were talking about Beloved Social. Let's just remind everybody who doesn't know what it is. What is Beloved Social?
So, Beloved Social is a social media and influencer marketing agency. So, we manage social media accounts and influencer campaigns on behalf of brands.
Okay, simple enough. And you connect brands
Succinct.
with, yeah, you connect
Yeah.
brands with influencers or content creators, however they want to define themselves.
Yeah.
Make sure it's a good fit. Everybody's happy. Everybody gets the messaging out there that they want to put out there.
Yeah.
Really.
For sure. I feel like there's such a barrier to working with content creators or influencers as a small business owner, if you aren't a part of the social media world already. So, say you open up a store or you open up a restaurant and you don't know anyone in the industry, you don't know any social media people, how are you going to reach them? I'm someone that if you Google social media marketing agency in Minneapolis, Minnesota, I would pop up and I could be one of the people in the community that fits your brand with content creators that are like your target demographic.
Got it. Okay. So truly, this is for small businesses to say, I don't know nothing about social media,
Mhm.
but I would like to know more about social media. And
Yep.
that's when they go, Shelby, what,
Yep,
what, what are we
exactly.
going to do?
Yep,
Okay.
yep,
You
exactly.
have done some incredible traveling in the meantime too. I saw San Diego on the Insta. I saw Switzerland. I saw a seaplane over Key West. I
Yeah,
mean, tell me about the seaplane because those views had to be incredible. Like they
they
looked
were
incredible.
incredible. Yeah, I went to Key West in January and February. It was kind of like over the month end into the beginning of the new month. And I went with my family and my girlfriend and yeah, we heard that you can do Dry Tortugas National Park, which is one of the only underwater national parks in the United States. And you can see it either via plane or take the ferry, but the ferry is like 4 hours long and there's a lot of seasickness that goes on, evidently.
Ooh.
I was reading
Ooh.
reviews and I was like, I'm not gonna waste a day doing the seasickness, 4 hours there,
Uh-uh.
4 hours back. I'm gonna, splurge. It was definitely like a Christmas family splurge that we gifted each other, and we went on the little plane and it was well worth it. It was stunning.
Did everybody else love it? That
Yes,
what?
yeah. Yep, my girlfriend and my mom went with me. They loved it. I was lucky because I got to ride co-pilot for one of the directions. So basically just me being Johnny on the spot, getting in line first, granted me the access to be co-pilot. So they don't need a pilot's license in Key West, I guess.
Oh my God, that's so funny. Wait, was that also slightly terrifying knowing that?
It, it was, well, the dude was driving the plane barefoot. I kid you
No,
not.
only in Florida. Only in
Only
Florida.
he was like, yeah, he was a surfer dude flying his little seaplane barefoot. I was like, if I die, this is a great memory.
I mean, honestly, that is a good way to go out. And but you walked away fine. Everybody walked
Yep.
away okay
Yep.
with
Everyone
some.
was happy. No one was seasick. No one was motion sick. Yeah, it was
Okay.
actually a smoother landing than any commercial flight I'd ever been on. You don't have like the bounciness when you land when you're in such
Yeah,
a small plane. We just kind of glided on down. It was great.
I know. That's the part where I always like cling to my seat on a plane too. Like when I'm flying anywhere, I don't care where in the world. It's the landing where I'm like,
Yeah.
I cling to my seat because that feeling of the like the bouncing or the last minute turbulence, I don't know what they want to call it. I guess it could be both, but
Mhm.
like that to me, like, and you feel your stomach drop as you come
Yeah.
in, and I'm just like, I did not pay for a roller coaster today, sir. I paid for a smooth flight, but I don't know. As a pilot could speak more to that. Maybe you can't help it, but that's always the part where like I grab onto my seat anytime.
I've had I've had moments too where they like descend and then they go, "Oh, we're not ready yet." And then they ascend again and I'm like, "Whoa."
Oh,
I feel like the inside out stomach then.
oh, yeah, don't do that. Pilots, please don't do that. Save us,
Make
save us.
make a choice. Make a choice. A safe
God.
one, let's hope.
Yeah, make the safe choice, but also make the one that makes us not want to throw up.
Yeah.
Ideally. Ideally. You
Um,
mentioned your girlfriend Amanda. Shout out to Amanda, because let me tell you, last time I met her at your party, she was like completely comfortable mingling, taking photos with everybody, full support
yeah.
in the spirit of full support for you, obviously, duh. But
Yeah.
not, holy hell, not everybody has a partner like that.
No,
We're gonna put that out there.
she's the best person I've ever met. Honestly, I can't get over it. I love her so much. We live together now. And that's
Hey,
been amazing. Yeah, she's just the brightest spot in my life. I couldn't have this business without her either because being a business owner is so tumultuous, nerve-wracking at times, and she picks up the slack. Like when I'm working 12-hour days, 14-hour days, she picks up the slack like without asking, like graciously, and that acts of service is really my love language, and she gives it in spades. Like she is just the best I've ever known, and I couldn't be who I am to my fullest and to my happiest without her. So huge props to
beautiful.
Amanda. And yeah, so many of my
Absolutely.
friends love her. I think they love her more than me.
I love that when that happens. Did you have any idea, like while you were dating, that she would be a good fit when it came to your own dreams and your own aspirations, what you knew you wanted to do?
Yeah, it became pretty clear quickly. She's just always been the most supportive partner, and like, yeah, I just kind of knew it. Once we were locked in and in a relationship, I was like, yep, this is it. Okay. Yep.
Yeah. She's gonna be ride or die for those situations,
Yeah.
like you were talking about, those 12-hour days or the
Mhm.
days when you're stressed over money or trying to help out a client and it's taking some time, or you're trying to navigate an issue, or
She's the
yeah.
best picture taker too. She will get the shot. And as a content
Yes.
creator, you know that's important in a partner.
Yes. Yes. Mine won't do it.
She's got the
But
angles.
Oh, someone taught her, or maybe she just well, or she cares. Like mine, I love my husband, but he won't do it. It's just not his thing. I get it. I respect that about him. I don't need him to be like, let me get on the ground and with an upward angle. Like, but you're right. It is something to celebrate and something to shout out for sure. Back
Yeah.
to the traveling. How long has
Yeah.
it been since you've been to Vegas?
Ooh. I went to Vegas. Let me think here. Cause I feel like I went for Eras Tour last year, 1 year.
It was in Vegas. You went to the
Yeah,
air
March.
the
Yep,
Vegas
it was
stop.
the second weekend of Eras Tour. I went and it was March like 10th, I think, was my flight out. I have a weird thing about dates. I remember them. So I think my flight was March 10th last year.
I
Yeah.
know your job probably forces you to remember them because we're
Yeah.
planning ahead so far in advance for so many things that other people look like we have 5,000 heads, and it's like,
That
no,
and
I just know.
that and anxiety, like you buy the ticket and you have to check your calendar 500 times to make sure you don't miss it.
Yeah. Oh, listen, missing Tay Tay would be a tragedy. That is
Oh,
we
I would
can't have
never.
that.
Could
We
never. Well, and I went in Minneapolis too, and I went viral for that, which was insane. Have you been on my TikTok recently? Well, not even
yeah.
recently, June. I'm
Yeah.
up I'm up to 4 million views on one of the videos. I have 2 million likes. Taylor is like, first of all, she's my goddess, ride or die, have been since day one.
Period.
But she's also social media magic. Anything she touches turns to gold. Anything she's in turns to gold. It's insane.
Because we're all interested in her. I mean,
Yeah.
we could go on about her all day, and we definitely will. The Vegas thing I brought up though because I want to hear that the Vegas I was named after a waitress in Vegas story because
Mhm.
this for those of you catching up, it was like recently the pod when I launched my podcast, I was like, this is based on the meaning of my full first name, Valerie, and it's vigorous and strong is the meaning. So I was like, okay, vigorously done. Period. Book it. Lock it in. That's the
Love it.
brand.
Yeah.
Period. And so I asked my followers, you included, do you know the meaning of your name? And you're like, well, listen, I got it from a Vegas waitress. And I was like, there's a story time there.
There's a story.
What happened?
So my dad is a magician. Fun fact, if you don't know
Oh,
that about
wow. I
professional
didn't know
magician.
that.
Yeah, he's a professional magician. And back in high school, his dad tragically passed away. And so he
Mm.
had to start performing to make ends meet for his mother and his brother's home. And so he would go out to Vegas and perform and actually homeschool. This is like homeschooling himself, distance remote learning to the extreme. He would mail papers back in. And so he
Wow.
was out there quite a long time with stretches of time. And he got homesick. And there was a diner that he would go to in Vegas that had this older lady named Shelby who would always serve him pie. And it made him feel like he was at home and had like kind of a piece of his mother with him.
Oh,
And so he said that if he ever had a daughter, he would name her Shelby. And she's a Vegas waitress. So I like to tease that. I like to use that hook
because
and then
that
be
could
like,
have
"It was
gone
actually
so far
grandma at
south.
a diner."
Yeah,
But it's
because that
true.
could have. That's so cute, and that could have gone so
Yeah.
far south. But it
Yeah.
actually was like a really cute story. I'm glad that his Vegas diner waitress story was a lot better than the one at the ending of Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. That's
Yeah, no,
better. Yeah,
no.
that that one's better. So I mean, it's cute. Do you ever think about that and like actually okay with that name? I'm honored to have that name now that I know the story.
Yeah, I think it's a wholesome, cute, funny, quirky story. I think it's very much like my family, that story. And I love my name. I like that it's common enough that people are familiar with it, but it's not so common that there's like a ton of Shelbys
Right.
everywhere, you know. And I also love my alliteration in my name, SS, Shelby Stahl, sincerely Shelby Stahl. It beloved social, like it just I love the S's. I love my name. I'm good with it.
Beautiful. So wait, is he your dad or was he from Vegas originally?
No,
Or
from Minnesota. He's from Fridley, Minnesota.
and he ended up in Vegas because of being a magician.
Yeah, he's a magician. So
Oh, okay. Putting
Vegas
that together.
magicians. Yep. So he would get gigs out there. They would hire him to do
Oh,
strolling magic at clubs, or he would do stage magic, do like full acts on Vegas stages, which is pretty incredible back in the day.
beautiful. I can't even imagine. I'm sure seeing Taylor was incredible, not just in Vegas, but even in Minnesota too. I didn't get my Eras Tour tickets. I was crushed. I was crushed. I wanted to really, really bad because as Swifties, I think it is definitely time to talk shop, and I do mean Mother Taylor, and speculate a little about multiple things. So
Oh boy.
we have multiple Taylor
I
questions.
I am so far past sanity at this point. I got my tinfoil hat on. I
We're
got my clown nose. Here we go. Oh,
But
I have some hot opinions actually. So I hope people don't cancel me for this
do
as
you
a Swiftie, but
listen? We're here for all the hot takes. We're here for all the hot takes and all the tea. First question, because as a Swiftie, I was sort of appalled, somewhat disappointed, but also not disappointed that the Grammys announcement was a new album, but it was not Reputation Taylor's version. It was
yeah.
totally new. I completely, like, if I was betting in Vegas, I would have lost. I would have lost. I would have lost because that's what I would have thought was the next thing, and I would have been very excited for that because Reputation is my favorite of the discography.
Yeah.
Did you
Yeah.
see that coming? Did you think new album, or did it surprise you too?
I she's always churning out new music. I knew she had new music in the pipeline. Did I think that announcement was going to be at that moment? No. I thought it would be Reputation because she has a
Right.
pattern, and also her outfit. She shows up with a midnight necklace. Like, yes, she won for Midnight's album, blah, blah, blah. I don't think it was a reference to the album. I thought it was like a drop at midnight. I'm clowning here, but also the black and white. Come
Mhm.
on. But also, then she just made that relatable to the new cover art with Tortured Poets Department. So, I love folklore. I'm a Reputation girly too, but I love folklore and Evermore, and I love some depressing shit music. Like, I love
Yes.
like sad songs, get me crying, hurt me, exile. Like, so good. So I'm really excited for the album. Um, but it didn't have that like sparkle that some of her announcements have had previously, especially Midnight's with all the
Yeah.
lead up to it. This was kind of like, oh yay, we're excited. But also, what about Reputation?
Yeah, I know. That's exactly how I felt too. I was like, I was disappointed, but I wasn't for the same
Yeah,
reason. It was
yeah,
like, okay, it's still good news, but where the hell is Reputation Taylor's version? Because we
yeah.
want the revenge. Because I am putting money on the fact that there are some like really revenge filled songs in the vault somewhere that need to be added to that collection. And I'm absolutely here for it and ready for it. Pun
What
intended.
what makes
Completely.
me so sad is knowing that there are so many vault tracks that we will never hear too. Like,
I know.
it only has, like 4 to 6 vault tracks each album, and it's like, with the amount of music that she's written, it feels kind of like Prince or Carole King that are just prolific writers even for other artists. And I'm like,
Mhm.
think of how many songs we will never see. Think of how many songs that never make the floor cut, and I'm just like, oof. Oh,
Can't even imagine. Do
can't
we think
imagine.
Tortured Poets Department is going to touch on the relationship with Joe? I think it is.
The problem is she had that comment where she's like, oh, okay, it takes like 2 years to go in process, and like she submitted this music a while ago, supposedly. Now, she's
Mm.
Taylor Swift. She can include some songs, hide them amongst one
Whenever
another,
she wants.
and you'll never know. Like, that's the ambiguity that makes us question, because other than Dear John, she's never
Mhm.
named a person, and it
Mm.
it leaves room for your imagination to run a little wild.
We're gonna have to pay attention to the Easter eggs then. And we know
Yes.
she's good for those. We're
Yep.
gonna have to pay attention to those. My theory is there won't be a whole lot of Joe, but there might be like one or two things that we catch that it's like,
Well,
maybe.
and the album title itself is a reference to his group chat
I
and
heard that.
the tortured men department or whatever. like
Yeah.
Tortured Men Society, whatever it was. So I'm like, okay, that could definitely be a clapback. The So Long London song. I mean, there's a lot of expletives too. I saw yesterday that they were showing like how many are going to have swear words in them. And I'm like, ooh, an angry album. This is a very serious, heartfelt, angry album. And so it could have a lot of Joe in there. I also saw a renegade thought yesterday that was like, So Long London is actually about Kate Middleton and like the whole
Oh,
the
oh my
wrap
God.
up
Yeah.
with the royal court, because Taylor has a history of helping women that are victims in relationships, Sophia Turner, Gigi Hadid, like, and just helping them with a house. She has a house in London. Is Kate at her house in London? Who knows? Who
Can
knows?
can we be a fly on that wall, please?
I
I
want to
would.
be.
Oh my God,
Someone
that
asked
would
me
be.
one time, if you could be someone for a day, who would you be? And I said, Taylor Swift, just so I could let all these questions be answered. I would get so many hours back in my life if I didn't have to scroll through TikTok with my tinfoil hat on, thinking up all these conspiracy theories. I would just know the truth and I could live a peaceful life knowing that what rumors are and aren't true, you
I
know?
know. I would want to take notes on the business and marketing know-how. That's what
Oh
I
yeah,
would be
Tree
doing if
Pain.
I had her brain for a day.
Tree Pain has that unlocked. Her PR strategy, best in the world. Like, never seen anything like it. It's
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah.
I think her strategy truly is just being authentic with her fans and actually engaging with them. Because I can't put that on a map. Like I can't pinpoint that and say this is specifically what it is other than that. Like that's the
Mhm.
only thing I could put on. If I were to put a list together, that would be on the list. And I don't know what else I could add. I'm like, I can't explain it. I can't explain the Swiftie obsession other than she gives a shit about her fans. That's it.
Yeah, I think she cares. And she also is such a strong writer and
Mm,
performer. Like, she dazzles anywhere she goes. What I will say though, when it comes to marketing, now there's a section of Swifties that are upset by all the vinyl cover variances
right.
and the one song difference between all of them. It is starting to feel like cash cow to the fans. And it's like, you know how many thousands of dollars these fans paid to see you just this year, and now you're gonna post, or you're gonna publish 6 different versions of the vinyl with one song being different, like, and have them up for pre-sale. We don't know what that music is yet. We don't know which one's our favorite, and you're trying to get us to buy them all, and it just feels like a cash grab. So my one critique of her marketing is it is starting to feel a little cheap. And she's a
Mm,
billionaire. She doesn't need to do that. She's got all the money
okay.
in the world, you know? So that's one of my hot takes.
Got it. Okay. So if you were her PR or her marketing, you would be like, let's be a little more straightforward about what we're giving.
Yeah, I think that's fair to fans.
Yeah.
Fans want all the music on one album and they don't want to buy 6 different versions of the same album when they're like $40 a pop. And
Hmm.
it's also not sustainable. So we're talking about the wrapping, the bag that it'll come in, the boxes that they'll be shipped in, like all of that. It adds up when people are buying more than one,
Yeah, it does.
and so it's
It
like, if
does.
we're going to be a sustainable advocate for climate change, because she has, talked about her care for the environment, and she is a Democrat. So, that's, I think, important to her. But with all the travel and,
Oh
the
yeah.
carbon emissions that she's doing, and then like the added vinyls, it's feeling a little unnecessary at some points. So that's
Yeah.
a critique. But I love her
Tweak that
anyway.
a little bit. Of
Yeah.
course. Of
Yeah.
course. I mean, she's a case study. She really
Yeah.
is a case study in what successful business looks like in 2024 and
True.
how then like, how to maintain it for
Hmm.
over a decade now.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly,
Yeah.
I mean, truly. So Beyonce just announced Cowboy
Mhm.
Carter coming out, right? And she did say there are collaborations on this album. Do we think Taylor is on it? I
Potentially.
know
I know people are like, is she? Is she not?" But I think the one thing that would have to happen is if Taylor's on hers, then she's gonna be on Taylor's. It would be an even
facts.
It would be an
Yeah,
even thing because they want both fandoms to recognize each other's talent and recognize that, like, you might be a Beyonce fan a little bit more and you might be a little bit more of a Taylor fan, but we can both appreciate good music and both support each other. I think that conversation really needs to happen, and I think that's how they would do it. If there was collabs, they'd be on each album.
I think so too. And they're legends in their own right, so it only makes sense.
Absolutely.
There's so many reasons to meld both worlds.
Yeah.
I thought about that and I was like, the only reason that I felt confidently about saying that was because they went to each other's movie premiere
Mhm.
for for their concert movie, like
Mhm.
for when that was in theaters. They went to each other's. So I was
Yes.
like, ooh, are we hinting at something here? Because they don't
Mm.
just show up to like anything and everything.
No, it was either that, the hint, or just trying to quell the fans honestly throwing shade at each other because it's
Mm,
not necessary. It's like I heard so many interviews leading up to the Taylor Swift Eras tour of like Beyonce fans being like, "Ugh, she sucks. Beyonce's concert is going to be better." And then like vice versa. And like we don't need that. We don't
no.
need the fandoms fighting. Why are we doing this? They are both talented, stunning, incredible, smart businesswomen and we just should all play nice in the sandbox.
Well, yeah. I mean, room for everybody. Room for
Yeah,
everybody is how I feel
everyone.
about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're both on my Spotify playlist.
Yeah,
Listen,
16 carriages. So good.
yes, yes. I'm excited. I'm glad that for country music's sake, I'm glad Beyonce's doing what she's doing because it needed a refresh. And
It needed a refresh.
she's the one to do it. She's the one to make it a little less divisive, a little more inclusive. She's the one to do it. If anybody can
Yeah,
do it, Beyonce can do it. So I am looking forward
yeah.
to what happens with country music once this is out.
Yeah, and especially on the backs of, like, Maren Morris's big announcement, like, she's leaving country
Right.
music too, like,
Right.
you can't necessarily we need her voice, but, I totally respect her decision to leave that genre and to go into a more folk kinda, indie music vibe, for her mental health and for her artistic health, but, yeah, then there's gonna be a void that needs to be filled for diversity within country music, and it can't just be, you know, same old, same old.
Right. Do
Yeah.
we think that Taylor and Travis are going to get married? I think it's going well so
No,
far.
no,
No?
definitely not. No. Ugh, I
I want
am
it. I want it so bad just because I feel like that would be like a fairy tale ending for her after everything that she's endured with all these relationships. I want it for her, selfishly.
Yeah.
If
Yeah, I feel like the fairy tale is too good to be true. She is
mm,
she has never had a relationship this, um, marketed before,
mm,
and although not all of her relationships in the past were good, because they definitely were not, but it felt more authentic or real, and this feels, like, so staged in so many points that I'm like, I'm still of the camp that it's like, is it PR? Maybe it's become real and
yeah.
they have grown feelings for each other, but I just don't see them being a fit for each other when they're sitting on the couch. Like, what do they watch?
Mm,
I think their tastes are totally different. What do they talk about? Like, he seems very much just like into football and getting into entertainment and like
yeah.
I don't know, and she's just such a well-read poet, like, I don't know what they talk about.
Oh, no, I see what you're saying. Like she might get bored of him
I just
because
don't think they're, yeah,
yeah.
an emotional and, like, mental fit for each other. Like, they're both
Mhm.
very talented at what they do on their own separate accords, but I just don't see them long term being a match.
I don't know. I mean, again, a part of me wants it, but
Yeah.
I sit back and I go back and forth on it all the time too, because you make a good point. Like, what would they watch together on Netflix? Do they
Yeah.
sit down and watch Love Is Blind and critique the relationships? I don't know. Can you
Maybe,
pick like I'm like, can you
maybe.
even imagine like just them like at home together watching Love Is Blind and being like, Chelsea did the most this season, or you know, I don't know. I'm like, is that what they do?
Even just his, like, clubbing habits. I'm like, you're
Yeah.
always out with the boys at a club in Vegas, in LA, like, doing your thing. And she's working, or she's just like, where is she? Like this
Hmm.
past weekend, she's not touring right now. He was out clubbing. Where was she? Like,
We don't
I
know.
don't know. We
We don't
don't know.
know. Where, but I mean, she goes out with the girls once in a while too. We see
Yes, she
that.
does.
She
To
does.
dinner.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
maybe, maybe she's completely cool with it. We'll have
Yeah.
to see where this goes.
We'll see.
We'll watch where this goes. I'm excited to watch where it goes. I think above
I
anything, we're entertained.
We're so entertained. My problem is I have a bar set for me at Amanda, and like just
Oh,
even Travis and Taylor, I'm like, Travis could never be Amanda in like the barometer of
yeah.
best partners.
No, they're not even in the same
I won.
stratosphere.
I think I
Not,
won. So
yeah, huge
I'm
facts.
spoiled.
So on the Beloved Social Insta, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
You talk about how refreshing and helpful it is to work remotely, which has definitely been, in
Mhm.
general, a hot topic. I mean, really, for all of us, we all can relate to that, especially since the pandemic. What do you think some of the benefits to remote work are? Because some love it, some hate it. I have been presented with a hybrid situation at my job, and I'm kind of like, I choose not to, just because, like, for medical reasons and HIPAA and all that stuff, like I do what every other Minnesotan does and work at Mayo Clinic during the day. So like, so I don't, but because of HIPAA, we can't take all of that work home with us, so to speak.
Right. Right.
So that's why I think they force a hybrid situation. Like you're not totally working from home exclusively. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, you are, and you've definitely seen some benefits to it.
Yes, I'm working fully remote. I do meet up with clients in person. I obviously content create at stores, at events, at
Mhm.
restaurants in person. Um, that's unavoidable. I can't bring the European Christmas market into my home,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
gotta go there. So it's kind of a hybrid when I think about my life. Like I have to make sure
Mhm.
that my travel specifically is planned out for when I need to be in a studio or at an event. But otherwise, on the day to day, yeah, I'm at home. This is my desk right behind me. I'm in the office, and it's the most incredible thing. I would never go back to working in an office, especially for my mental health and physical health. I have some digestion issues that are just really difficult to deal with at an office with a lot
Yeah,
of people around. So I feel much more comfortable here. I feel healthier because I'm eating, properly cooked meals rather than like grab and go and like click on
yeah,
the go takeout, stuff like that. Um, and it's been really helpful for my family life. My parents are getting older, and we had to put my grandfather into an assisted care facility this year, and December was a shit show, and I couldn't have
mm,
taken the time to like drive down with my mom to help her pack and clean the house, kind of a thing. Had I needed to, save my PTO days or something like that. I just took my laptop down, worked a couple hours down there, helped my mom, and like went on with my life. I just feel so much more liberated as an individual and happy
yeah.
because I'm really listening to my body, my family, and still maintaining a full client roster and growing. So, I feel really lucky to be able to have that opportunity and privilege, truly.
That, that's incredible. It sounds like there's a lot of flexibility involved too. And that's probably
Absolutely.
why most people love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Got it. So does your grandpa like where he's living now?
Yeah, he's okay with it. He's 93 and lived in his house on a farm by himself all the way until now. So it's
Wow.
truly like a bittersweet moment, and happy
Right.
that he was able to live there for so long on his own. But now it's helpful for him to have a little extra help. It comes with its sadnesses too, of not having his cat with him and like all of
Oh,
his comforting environment. It's an apartment, so it's different. But yeah, he's okay. I chatted with him like 2 nights ago, so
yeah.
yeah.
Oh.
I call him. I was trying to get him to help me with my March Madness bracket because he watches the basketball men's basketball specifically than me. I watch the women's basketball, being queer and
Yep.
all. It's a part of the culture.
I don't want to stereotype, but I don't want to contribute to the stereotype, but no, it's me and pasta. I'm sorry, it is what it is.
Mhm.
I love it. I'm not changing that. It is sometimes it is the damn truth. Sometimes
Yeah.
we like what we like. Well,
Yeah.
that's good. I'm glad to hear that about him. What's new for you? What can we look forward to with Beloved Social? What's coming? What can we get excited about?
Yeah, so I just recently launched a blog. There's one blog currently on there. So
Yes.
I will be blogging more from a social media marketers and influencer managers perspective, giving tips to small businesses, and I'm sure other content creators can take value in it as well. And I am building out a team. So I have a really strong team of women behind me that are helping me with business operations, project management, video editing, content creating. So I'm really excited to be able to develop a team more. I know that isn't necessarily easy to see from the outside, but in 5 years, maybe it'll be a little bit more of a difference and you'll be able to see. So I'll definitely be sharing learnings on that, as growing a business comes with learnings always.
Mm,
Um, yeah, and just really trying to nail down what are my signature services and what do businesses need the most. So I've narrowed it down
mm,
to two packages. But everyone's always like kind of, can I add a little of this? Can I add a little of that? So trying to make sure that I refine processes in a way that gives everyone the best of what they're looking for their business, is something that I'm excited to refine this year. And then lastly, an email newsletter. So
oh,
it's
fun.
uh I'm gonna promise myself this right now. I'm gonna have a lead form on my website by the time this podcast is published. And so you can sign up for it'll probably be a once a month or twice a month newsletter with just industry news and things like that. But yeah, lots of exciting developments happening.
I'm into it. I can't wait to see it all. Shelby, always a joy. Thank you so much for your time today. Thank you for hanging out with me.
Thank you so much for having me. I loved it.